the hell? Oh my god.
How come you got a good picture?
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded Patriots post-game review. Ron, thanks for joining.
No problem, Eric. I'm always thrilled to be here.
New intro for us, so excited about that. So let's discuss the 54-13 Patriots romp of the New York Jets today. Overall, we start off with just our impact of what we felt the game consisted of. So what do you think about the New England Patriots performance today?
Well, they took care of business. Look, if you're going to have a close game with the Dallas Cowboys, you better be blowing out a team like the Jets. Because that's the only thing that justifies, how you played against the Cowboys. Because if you just beat them by like 3 points, you're not any better than anybody.
Yeah, so you're starting to see a lot of things come together. Again, the Tampa Bay game they were very close. Dallas Cowboy game, very close. Two quality teams that we expect to be in the playoffs and obviously possibly make a Super Bowl run. The New York Jets, we know what they are. They're not a very good team currently.
They're pretty bad.
And, we've talked about coaching and all these different things in the past about with New England. You saw a lot of good things from New England today. You could see that they were pretty much correcting a lot of the mistakes that they had made in the past that lost them some of those close games. So it was good to see today.
Lots of players were out, too.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that you got to look at is the injuries. From a standpoint of they started this game with a lot of guys that didn't play, but the impact that some of these guys that got hurt in this game as well. So you lost McCarty, Shaq Mason, so those are two big keys there. They can't afford to continue to lose players and expect to win these games.
They got I would say 9. I want to say 9 starters are now hurt. At least.
Yeah. Jonathan Jones now on the IR.
Yep.
So again, he's our best slot corner. You can't afford to hold on to these piecemeals of what they do consistently. They just don't have enough yet to say that they're able to do that. But I mean, overall, like you said, the job that the coaching staff did today with all the players, I thought the guys they put in the position obviously performed performed well.
I almost wish we can go out and get a corner to solidify that.
So J.C. Jackson looked good today. J.C. looked good. I mean,
yes, he did. But he's the only body we have left.
Yeah, so I don't understand. What they're going to be able to do. So next week they go against the Chargers, who obviously are a high-powered offense. Would have to see what that defense could do if a lot of those guys are still out. But let's talk about some of the numbers. So Mac Jones went 24 for 36, 67.7%, 307 yards passing, his first 300-yard passing game, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. One nearly almost picked off early in the game, but other than that, looked good. What I would say is this. The only thing is I didn't see the accuracy as much early.
Well, 67%, he went down 4%.
Right? But so let me ask you this, and this is the difference between this New England team and many in the past. A lot of media personality was discussing about how Jonnu Smith hasn't been involved in the offense and what they needed to do. I felt like New England tried to force the ball early to Jonnu Smith. And that's what caused some of those inaccurate throws because it looked like
he got hurt, by the way, too.
And he did get hurt. So it just seems like we never listened to the noise before outside of New England. And for some reason, I kept seeing it, and I'm like, Jonnu Smith's not even open, and he's trying to throw the ball to Jonnu Smith.
Right.
And, they're running the reverse for Jonnu Smith, and then it's a little dink to Jonnu Smith, and then it has another pass to Jonnu Smith. And I felt like it threw Mac Jones out of his rhythm early because he wasn't looking for the open guy. He was just looking for one guy. And I don't know if that was a Patriot, game plan going in. Let's let him get the ball early, try to get him involved in the offense. But I think it hurt Mac Jones early in the game. Obviously, once Jonnu went out, you saw the difference.
Yeah, because he had to find somebody else.
Right. So Damian Harris, 14 carries, 106 yards, 7.6 average. So if you're getting almost 8 yards a carry, we'll take that every time, and 2 touchdowns.
He's been unbelievable the past 2 games.
Running with such power, force. You see that he's his passion. That fumble that he had early in the year, you can tell that he let it bother him, but in a positive, because he is running hard, but he's holding on to the rock.
Oh, he is. So
important. Brandon Bolden. That was a surprise. 6 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Definitely in that third quarter stretch where it just seemed like Bolden was open every single time. Mac found him, and he made some plays, but it was nice to see them get that. Taylor today played fairly well. You think about...
I don't even know why Stevenson was
a healthy
scratch. He had a great game last week.
But then did you see Taylor at 5? What is he, 5'6"? And he was barreling over people. Like he's still he ran hard as well.
Yeah, but it was barreling over the Jets.
I know,
so there's barreling over people, and then there's barreling over the Jets.
You think about it, though, for his size and what he was able to do from a physical standpoint.
Maybe that's why he put him in, give Stevenson a break, and let's go with Taylor on a bad against a bad team, see what he can do. Because you don't want to stick him in there against the Chargers.
So, 551 total yards of offense, 403 yards passing, 148 yards rushing. Brian Hoyer actually looked pretty good. That's how bad the Jets are right now, is that Brian Hoyer looked pretty good. N'Keal Harry got a catch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, these things don't happen in New England the last couple of years. And N'Keal Harry, I mean, looked, that pass where he almost scored on, it just baffles me how bad the Jets are. 32-18 on first downs.
Yeah.
So I think
it was lopsided. The whole game was lopsided.
I think some of the struggle was maybe third downs. We gave, you know what I mean? It was almost 50% third down conversion for the Jets, and some poor tackling. I thought some of the tackling.
Yeah, I saw some really bad tackling, especially, in that first quarter.
Yes.
On the third drive for the Jets, where again, like we've seen it and we've mentioned it, when a Patriot player just dives to the guy with the ball, and come on, that doesn't make a tackle, because all they have to do is just take one step to the right or left and you miss, and that's not how you tackle. And I know through all these years, the past 20 plus years with Belichick, that is not how he's telling you to tackle people.
Yeah, so I think they got to clean that up. I thought too, I love Josh McDaniels' play calling today. You finally saw some aggressive play calling. It looked like he was getting everybody involved. A little too much on the trickery, though.
Yeah, a little too much.
It seemed like they try to throw way too much in there, and maybe because it was the Jets and they want to see if certain things work. But I saw that one play where Mac Jones ended up throwing at the feet because, it was like another hook lateral type.
Yeah.
They've got to stop doing it. 1 or 2 a game, and even that to some extent is a little much.
You can't even do it 1 or 2 a game.
Yeah,
it's got to be like 1 every 3 games, if that.
How many wide receiver passes for touchdowns can you throw?
Look, I mean, when you talk about the Patriots of the past, I don't really recall them doing too much trickery at all, because they would just beat you.
Yeah, and again,
that's the attitude you need to develop. You just need to develop that. Okay, we're going for the throat. So you want to beat them by power football. That's what you want to do. And none of this this trickery stuff, yeah, it's all fun and games until you throw a pick six on it.
Yeah. I don't want Bourne throwing touchdown passes. Granted, he threw one today, but
Because
that
even like the play where I don't remember who the player was, passed it over to Mac
back to Mac Jones.
Jones.
I think it was Bolden passed it back.
Like that took forever to get there. Like if you do it, you got to do it and get it to him. Because if you would have got it to him fast, he would have had all day to throw. But no, he just lobs it, and everybody sees it, and he had a guy on him just
Yeah.
as he got the ball.
Yeah, he broke out of it, but obviously at that point it was already a busted
Right.
play and had to throw it away. So yeah, they've just got to clean up some stuff. But I was glad to see consistency. The penalties, they had 6 penalties, but overall, I mean, I think one or two of them a little questionable. The pass interferences early in the first quarter, I thought were just bad plays by the corner by Mills.
Yeah.
Mills didn't look like Jalen Mills did not have a good game today. Seemed like he got beat a couple times, and then some obviously not costly penalties based on the score, but it could have been if there was a better team. So they've really got to shore up that second cornerback spot. And to your point, not having Gilmore coming back next week, which it would have been. What are they going to do at cornerback to be consistent for the rest of the year? It's a little concerning.
Like you have a problem at safety, you have a problem at linebacker, you have a problem on the offensive line. Although they were amazing today, maybe you don't have a problem. Keep those guys out.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for joining.
Even like the defensive line has had some injuries too. So so there's a lot. There's a lot that they need right now. They got to get healthy, and I don't know how they're gonna field enough players to even have any depth next week.
So the funny thing too, they're 3-4, and during the broadcast they kept talking about, well, they're still in the playoff race, right? So Buffalo had a bye this week. They're 2 games out of first. I don't feel they're a 500 team. They're a 500 team, possibly.
Because look, they got to go to 9-8. They got to go to the Chargers next. I mean, do you feel confident going into the Chargers?
No, absolutely not.
So you're looking at 3-5, okay, and then after that is Carolina. I actually feel pretty confident against Carolina because I think they're starting to fade. Like I thought they would, from the beginning, but they started out pretty good. But but you still, even if they split those 2 games, you're looking at 4-5 going in. Yeah,
and you still got Buffalo 10. Twice,
right?
Yeah, So I don't know.
So you're looking at least 7 losses. At least.
If as a Patriot fan, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Ron, but if they go 9-8, 8-9, would you not consider that a victory for this team, considering starting a rookie quarterback?
I would. And, at first when I looked at the season, I would say, no, that's not a victory, even when Mac Jones was named starter, because I looked at the roster and who they picked up. But a lot of those guys are either hurt or haven't really done what the expectation was, except for Judon. And even Judon has quieted down.
Had enough pressure, though. He created a lot of pressure. He was in the backfield. Not going to get a sack every game, but I think his pressure alone definitely forced them to. Who's slowly coming on and starting to make noise is Hunter Henry.
Yes.
Right? So they had that stat, 4 touchdowns straight for a tight end. It hasn't happened since 2013 with Rob Gronkowski. So you're looking at they're starting to put up Patriot of old numbers.
Yeah, he's definitely the tight end for that red zone area.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's not going to be fleet of foot by no means, but he can get open, and he's got those like
mitt.
huge hands. It's like, it's like those oversized baseball gloves that people, but it certainly is, a positive. So if we're getting Judon and we're getting Hunter Henry out of this, that's great. But we need a couple of those other guys to step up, and you know, and if that happens, then we would expect to see a better record. But like, look, like how many rookies go, to the
Yeah,
playoffs in their
yeah,
first
exactly.
year? It's not that it doesn't happen that often.
Look,
So
at the end of the day, if you were to tell me a rookie quarterback's going to get you to 500, I'd be pretty impressed with that, just based on the fact that, most teams are throwing everything at the kid to just see what he can,
right, and
get
and
through. And
personally, I
yeah.
think he's handled himself better than 50-60% of the league right now at quarterback. I'm looking around the league, and there's some teams there that, and I'm sorry, like I'm looking at all those rookie quarterbacks. They're struggling. They're struggling. Like you look at Chicago, Justin Fields, they're averaging like 117 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's terrible.
And then
That's terrible.
we saw Zach Wilson and his struggles today, and then obviously the injury
Oh, he's just terrible. I'm
afterwards.
sorry. He has no sense of what the defense is doing. None. Where you see Mac Jones is up there, he sees what's going on. So he's aware of what the defense is doing. But I don't get that from Zach Wilson at all. He has no clue what's happening out there. And I haven't
struggling.
Yeah, I mean that's a really bad team, and the coaching might not be that great either.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen enough of Trey Lance to really know. I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch a couple of San Fran games to see. I don't know if Jimmy's back or not.
He's back
But
tonight.
So that's good news for San Francisco, because I don't think Trey Lance was doing good enough, and I don't think Justin Fields is doing good enough, to be honest with you. Like you can't have 117 yards offense.
Out of all the rookies, Mac Jones is definitely stood above.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
New England, we got that right.
He might be better than probably most of the second year quarterbacks too. Like I can't think of anybody that's like really standing out to me except for Herbert and Burrows.
Who do we think the Patriots will beat the rest of the season? Like your predictions. I don't know if we get the schedule in front of us, but let me see if I can pull up the schedule real quick.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a good point, Goon Boy, because like we know they're playing Buffalo twice, and they got to play the Chargers, so those could potentially be 3 losses. And if they're 3-4 now, you're looking at 7 losses.
All right,
already.
so we got after the Panthers game, we've got the Browns, and that's at home.
See, another one that could be another loss.
At the Falcons, they should win that one.
Yep.
Then they play Tennessee.
Oh.
That should be a loss.
Who just walloped KC.
Yeah. Then at Buffalo. At the Colts, which again depends on what Colts team shows up. And then at the Buffaloes at New England. Then we got the Jaguars and the Dolphins. So 1, 2, 3,
you're looking at a 9-8 season, possibly.
4. So four good possible wins. Colts up in the air. Browns, I don't know. Depends on what Browns team, but you got to stop that running game of the Browns. So I would say, look, they've got 4 to 5 more wins.
Faceless. I can't even read it. It's football.
NFL football. That's pretty good.
Damn it.
All right. So
love it.
if you enjoy this show, check us out on Friday nights at 6 p.m. We're on the same Twitch. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on 6 p.m. on Fridays. So watch us then every Friday night. That's our regular show where we talk about all sports. This is our Patriots post-game review show.
Don't forget, all of you UK people out there, if you want us to cover some soccer from out there, you just got to let us know what's going on out there, so that way we can take a look at it, and we will cover it.
The other football, absolutely.
The worldwide football.
So follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. And you can listen to us on podcasts on Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. So a lot of different ways to watch, listen, and follow. So as we end every show, Ron, we got our Lighthouse Awards. So that's the 3 best players that we feel in the game. At number 3 this week, I have the offensive line. I'm giving the whole offensive line.
That's what I had. That's exactly what I had.
1 sack. I thought the running back, the pass blocking was so much better this week. But the fact that you had to mix and match again, and then Mason went out, and they still were able to perform at that level against listen, the Jets have a lot of deficiencies, but they are a very good pass rushing, aggressive team up front, and they weren't able to get to New England today. Offensive line, my Lighthouse Award at number 3. You as well?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I was trying to square it down to 1 or 2 players. I couldn't because they all played well.
Yes.
And you have to tip your cap to an offensive line that has been just brutalized by every team.
Yes. U.S. What is more popular? NFL is definitely the most popular.
Oh yeah.
After that, yeah. NHL is trying to make a little bit more of a statement, but NBA is still probably ahead of them as well. So if it went that order, baseball's
I think NBA could pass up baseball. To be honest with you,
I think NBA has already passed baseball.
Yeah, so
baseball is the worst sport.
It's just a question of whether the NHL can pass them.
Yeah, exactly. At number 2 in the Lighthouse Award, I put Damian Harris. I just love the grit. Only 14 carries, but 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll take that every week.
We're gonna have the same list. He was like I said last week. The man showed up. He was a man last week. That man is still in the building because he showed up, and if it's even possible, he played better this week.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know what was there 3 or 4 times where he rushed for over 10 yards to get the first down.
Yep. No, he looked incredible today.
He was awesome. 2 touchdowns
and a couple of receptions out of the backfield. You don't think of him as a pass catching running back, and he can do that as well. So I'm sure they'll start to get him involved in that. At number 1, Mac Jones.
Yep.
Crazy. I know. So again,
the exact same list.
The funny thing is, from an accuracy standpoint, we said it. I don't think he had his best game there. And I also thought he left a couple plays on the field. But he definitely had control of this offense today. He definitely looked like the leader. Again, I think he took another big step this week in becoming a starting quarterback for the next 10 years for the New England Patriots. You saw it today.
Right.
We've got our quarterback of the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a matter of now, listen, get him a little more talent, especially at the wide receiver position. That's where they got to get better.
Strong makes a great point. So they did what they needed to be done.
You beat the teams
and we beat the Jets. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And we haven't, because we had a lot of criticism on some of the things that went on during the game. And so Strong's point is pretty accurate. You beat the Jets. It's not a big deal.
And again, we're not putting the team in the Super Bowl. What we're saying, maybe 4 to 5 wins remaining on the season, which they don't have a winning record this season. But you're starting to see the team come together and starting to build something that potentially could be two years away from being a problem in the NFL for other teams.
Yeah, it depends on what they do in the offseason as well. So if you add a couple more pieces, say to some that didn't pan out, you know, obviously you'll want to beef up that line. That's obviously a problem. So if they go out and get an offensive lineman and maybe another receiver, like you're looking at an offense that can really generate points. Like coming into today, they were third worst in the red zone. Well, how many touchdowns did they score in the red zone today? Like it was
They
massive.
scored on
So
9 of 10 offensive drives today.
right, and again, it is the Jets.
Yeah, 100%.
So
We're not taking it. Listen, we're not up here
we're
bragging
not,
that.
yeah, we're not
they're
going to
nowhere
go.
near where they need to be.
We're not going to go to the Chargers.
We already
And
expect them to lose that game.
right. So
So again, yeah, and I
baby
agree with
steps.
you, Strong. I mean, yes, I mean, you give Damian Harris 25 carries, he's probably getting you 200 yards. So at some point, maybe that's where they start to go. But I think from a health standpoint, hey, if you're getting him 14 carries early in the year and then you need him later in the season, you know when you're going to
Yeah.
need Damian Harris to carry 25 times against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, like I think they're doing this now because of the injuries that he has sustained at the beginning of the season, and so they're kind of just like slowly letting him get a little healthier.
Let's save him for the end
Exactly.
of the year when we really going to need some
Exactly.
key
Like
running.
we might need him next week.
Yes.
But then, the week after, then you can go back to that committee because you'll have Carolina, and they won't be as good as the Chargers. So,
yeah, definitely. I got him in my fantasy team. He did pretty well for me today. I'll take it.
yeah, I wish my running backs did.
So, Ron, thanks for joining me tonight. Strong, Faceless, Goon Boys, thanks for joining. You guys have been great tonight. Check us out Friday night, 6 p.m. Again, same place on Twitch, or Facebook, or YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting. And then follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Or check us out on our podcast, Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. So many different ways to watch or listen. So many. Ron, we'll probably do a little World Series preview. We'll discuss that later in the week. Tuesday night, the World Series starts as well for baseball. But
who's in it, Eric?
Houston and the Braves, Atlanta. So it's going to be a fun series.
So I just want to let you know I picked Houston and Dodgers. But I am so happy that the Atlanta Braves won that series.
Yeah, I am for their fans. Because if they
want
lost 3-1
again, I want them to win it.
So we'll probably break that down on Tuesday. We'll talk about it. Once again, thanks for joining, Ron. Always a pleasure, my friend. Kenny, hopefully, I know he had some family things go on. We wish you our best as well. We'll see you next week. And have a great night.
Take care, everybody.